Hi, everyone. Today we're going to go over how I created this daily journal using Documate, using only one repeating item. So we're going to go over what this looks like from each user's perspective. And this is what it would look like at the end. So what somebody would do is put in the date of entry. They would complete the following sentences. So, I feel grateful for my life. I have plenty of time and energy. My word for the day is progress. I can see that my future is bright. I am spectacular, or whatever questions the person wants to have as their daily journal entries. They say continue. They have a chance to edit their answers or delete or add another if they want to. They say continue, and then it's submitted. And for the person who is taking this, so I'm logged in as Brittany, and also this is the admin account. So when I go to the data manager, I'm able to see that entry here. So I'm able to see this person's answers. This is mine in particular and who the user was. Now, if we have it to where the person is not the admin, but wants to be able to see their answers and they want to take this workflow and use this journal entry, what they can do is have their own account on your subdomain. So in Documate, when you create your account, you create your own subdomain as well, which in my case is cormeum.documate.org. So that means that actually other people can also create their own client portals under your account or under your subdomain. So they do that really easily. They just create an account on this part that says cormeum.documate.org/user/register. They put in an email, a password, and then they confirm. They say create an account. And then they're going to automatically have a user account. And what a user can do is they can take workflows, have only one set of data that will persist from workflow to workflow, and access the end user portal. So then you have the people who can have an organizational user account, and you can manually upgrade someone to this type of thing within your user management portal on your dashboard. So if you come over here to users, you can do that from there. And what they can do is they can take workflows, have multiple sets of data, access the end user portal, and access Data Manager for their completed workflows. So that's how people can see what journal entries they've put in the past. A builder can also do the same things here as an admin, just with some limited permissions. So a builder can build and share workflows, they can take workflows, and they can access the Data Manager. So in our case, what we're going to do is create this from scratch, and then we're going to test it using the different user types. So let's go ahead and go to our dashboard. And even though I've created this already, I'm going to create it again from scratch. The back of this one particularly looks like this. And we're just going to make our own, but I'm going to use some of the same things. So I'm going to keep it open to copy and paste so I don't have to redo it in this video. So what you're going to do first is go to your Documate dashboard and you're going to say new workflow. And let's give this one the name of daily journal. And then we say create. So we have daily journal, and I had a different one that was daily habit tracker and journal. And let me put daily journal Gavis. And Gavis stands for gratitude, gratitude, abundance, intention, visualization, affirmation, and then smile. So this is what I do every morning for about 10 minutes. So what we're going to do now is create this basic framework. So if we just saved this and said run, it would just say new page. We have some default CSS and functionality here, and we can say continue. We can see our logo. People can log in or log out or whatever else. So we want to keep this bar on the top actually, because we need someone to be able to sign in and to be able to view the workflows that they've taken. So we don't want to change that at all. What we do want to change though is what's here in the middle. So in the middle, what we're going to do is actually say, let's say daily journal, and then we're going to add a question, and we're only going to use one repeating item question. If you notice in the one that I made before, if we go back, you can see that what we're really trying to do is make it to where someone can put multiple things associated with a single date. And if they wanted to do multiple entries for one particular date, they would be able to do so. So in this case, we want to have a date. So let's go ahead and go back to our brand new one. And we're going to give the item name refers to the repeating item as a whole. So in this case, it would be Gavis entries. So give this kind of more of a general name. In my case, I'm going to say Gavis entries. And then for the question titles, so this isn't going to show up anywhere. It's for us internally to be able to do stuff with. So for our questions, though, that would be what shows up here and here and here and here. So in our case, we want to have a date first for someone to be able to add a date. You can add instructions at the top if you wanted to. It depends on how you're going to have this be used. But in our case, let's say we're just going to have it to where this says something like entry date. So let's just have entry date for the first one. So the date the person is entering this information. And in my case, I put as the variable Gavis entry date, something that will make it to where it matches something that I've already created over here. So for example, I've already created this before. So I have all of my variables in my variable map. And I just need to use the same ones because I'm doing something similar in this case. So now we need to make sure that the question type is correct. Right now it's text, and I want it to be a date. So let's go ahead and save this. We can make it required or not required. And I think in this case, we do want to know which date. And then we're going to add another one. But let's run this first just to see what it looks like right now. So if we go here, we have daily journal and we have entry date, and somebody can click on this and easily choose which date. But there's nothing else that's really happening right now. So for now, what we want to do is add whatever other questions we want a person to be able to answer each day. So in our case, I just want to give a little bit of an explanation of what they need to do. So I'm going to put an instruction block actually here. So I can say instruction, and then I can just put this here. I can say Gavis stands for gratitude, abundance, intention, visualization, affirmation, smile. And then I can give this instruction, complete the following sentences. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like now. Now, if you notice, this comes out like this. So we want them to actually be underneath each other rather than next to each other in line. So we can do that multiple ways, but in our case, let's just put a little bit of a BR. And that means break, means put this underneath. So we can just copy paste like this, and we'll probably be fine there. How much space we have here? This one's fine. So now if we do this, we're going to have them underneath each other, just like that. If we wanted to have some bolding or anything else, that's fine, but that's more of a stylistic aesthetic concern. So you always do that last after we've created for functionality first. So after we do this part, we want to give them some other stuff to enter. So in our case, I want them to have something that says, I feel grateful for. So let's have a text question that's telling them for G and complete the following sentence, I feel grateful for blank. And I want the variable for that to be grateful for, Gavis grateful for. And we'll have another one that says, I have plenty of for abundance. Same type of thing here. I'm going to keep them as required because I want somebody to fill this out every day as part of their daily journaling. So we have plenty of, but you could say Gavis abundance. My word intention is my word for the day is. So these are all just kind of the same thing over and over. So not as interesting here, but it will be interesting to see how this comes out towards the end. And we could, if somebody wanted to have this to be more of like a text area, for example, rather than a text, so that somebody has more room to write, that's fine too. In my case, I wanted it to be something that somebody could do every day very easily, and it wouldn't be like a lot of pressure to fill this out every day. And that way you're more likely to actually fill it out. So I have Guyvis can see, Guyvis I am. And then I have this instruction block at the end that says, now I'd like you to hold a smile for 30 seconds. And that helps to, it says, now hold a smile in a state of contentment for 30 seconds while you take full, deep, calming breaths. And then I just give some instruction here that I just say, click and add another below if you'd like to complete another entry. Otherwise, be sure to click continue, which will allow you to review and or add your entry or edit your entry. Then you'll click continue once more to submit your entry. We don't necessarily have to have all of this stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and actually take this off. And then we'll just look at what it looks like there. We can change it if we want to. So just to keep things a little bit more simple. So right now we have it to where it says daily journal, entry date. So somebody can pick the date that they're completing this. Guyvis stands for, so I give some instruction here, gratitude, abundance, intention, visualization, affirmation, smile. Complete the following sentences. G, I feel grateful for. A, I have plenty of, or abundance. I, my word for the day is, for intention. V, visualization, I can see. A, I am. And then they have S, now hold a smile in a state of contentment for 30 seconds while you take full, deep, calming breaths. Click add another below if you'd like to complete another entry. Otherwise, be sure to click continue, which will allow you to review and or edit your entry. Then you'll click continue once more to submit. So that's just a little bit of instruction, and I think that looks fine. I think we don't have to have anything really fancy here. So what would happen is if they wanted to add another one, they'd have to fill these out first. So we'd have to say, I feel grateful for, let's say, this person, or we could say, my partner. I have plenty of love. Let's say love in my life. My word for the day is, let's say, relax. I can see how taking care of myself gives me strength. I am content, or whatever you want to say. And if they want to add another one, then they have the ability to do so here. Or they can delete it if they are not ready to do that. Now, before we continue, I want us to next customize the messages. So right now, what would happen, because this is a new workflow, is it would have the default messaging at the end, and we don't want the default messaging right now because it would say, here are your documents. But we don't have any documents. So we can make it to where we skip the final review page. We can make it to where somebody has the link to continue later. We can have the link for the user to continue later. This is quite short, so we don't really need to have that. We can change the language to something else. We have all of these different options. We can change the style with custom CSS. I don't really want to in this particular case right now, just because I want to keep it simple. We can make it to where only logged in users can access this, which I think in this case is important just because it makes it to where the person can actually see their answers. So I want them to be logged in. So I'm going to go ahead and say save. And you could also make this anyone with a link, but it will be less useful for them because they need to be logged in order to see their journal entries. So I'm going to keep this here. You can make it to where the user can only complete this workflow once, but in our case, this is meant to be a daily journal. So we want them to be able to do it over and over again. You could allow just specific email domains or just specific people if that was important. And we have different integrations if we wanted to make it to where this goes, the information, let's say, goes to an external source, such as exporting the data into something like Airtable or Google Sheets or something like that. But in our case, it's actually doing this for us in the person's client portal, so we don't really need to do that. If we go to customize messages, then we can change this message to just say like, great job today, or we can put a GIF in here if we'd like, or picture, or anything else you'd like. In this case, I'm just going to say, great job today. See you tomorrow. Something like that is fine. Just keeping it simple for now. We just are testing for more functionality rather than anything else. And I think that's probably fine for as far as the general outline of this. It's a pretty quick one for today, just to kind of go through these different motions to show you what's possible with the different user roles, and also with a repeating item, just a single one, and how powerful that can be. So everything here looks pretty good. We have all of these different ones. And here is what our daily journal looks like on the other side. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you is what this looks like for someone who is the actual admin or a builder. The backside will kind of look a little bit similar, except for maybe some of the different things that the admin can do rather than the builder. But from an Access Data Manager standpoint, if that person's logged in, they'll still see their journal entries the same way. So in our case, we have myself, Brittany, logged in, and I am, let's say, taking this workflow in order to log my journal entry for today. So today, I'm going to put my date, then I can see what it stands for, and I'm going to complete the sentences. Like I said, I feel grateful for my partner. I have plenty of love in my life. My word for the day is relax and recharge. I can see that taking care of myself helps me to have clarity, you could say. I am so happy, you could say, to to be out of the house because I spent a couple days in the house, and then now today I'm filming from the Victoria and Albert Museum in London just because I needed to have a break, and then we can add another if we want to, but in my case I'm just gonna keep it simple and just have one. Then let's say continue, and we can say continue once more, and then it says great job today, see you tomorrow. You can give more instruction here, such as check your data manager to see your entries or something like that. But for right now, we're just going to go over to my dashboard and look at the data manager by workflow. So if we go here by workflow and we see daily journal Gavel, we can see that we have our journal entry here. So if we wanted to go back and see what we put in a while ago, we can just go to our data manager and open it here. So I can see what I wrote on that day for which date. So I can see that this was for this date. I can see all of this different stuff and what I wrote and whatever else. So it's a really cool way to be able to quickly have this stored for you that you can refer back to. Now, if you wanted to have this sent to someone for them to take, you can see what that would look like. So we're going to copy our link here, and we're going to give it to someone who has an account on our subdomain. So in this case, this would be a regular user. So our regular user is someone who doesn't have an organizational account, but has a user account on ours. So they've created an account on our subdomain, and we want them to be able to take this workflow. So the first thing they're going to need to do is sign in. So they'll be prompted to do that here. So this is just a link. So they're being prompted here then to sign in before they're able to access the workflow. So I'm going to put in this person's email. So this is going to be sohail@cormeum.pro, and I'm going to put in their password and sign in. Now they're taken to their journal and they're logged in here, and they can see what workflows they've taken. This is a previous one. And let's go back. So if we have that person who has now a user account on our subdomain, we want them to take this and we send them this link, they can log in and then start taking this one. I feel grateful for, let's say, the same answer as my partner. I have plenty of, or just time and energy. My word for the day is, let's say, love. I can see that the world is beautiful. I am so excited to have some food after this. And whatever else. And now hold a smile. They can add another one or say continue. They can review and then say continue again. Great job today. See you tomorrow. Now, if this person then goes to their workflows taken, they can see that they've taken daily journal Gavis, created at this day and time, updated at that day and time. They can continue or they can view their answers. So they can see whatever it is that they've put for each of these particular answers on that day at that time, which looks really, really good, by the way. So this is what a user's portal looks like for someone who has an account on your subdomain. So they can continue that or view answers or whatever else. And so that is what they look like, if what their experience would look like if they had a regular user account. Now let's look at what a person who has an organizational user account might see if they took this particular workflow. So if we go back to Daily Journal Gavis and we copy that one and we give that to our other person here, which is a person who has been upgraded to an organizational user by you on your account, then they sign in. So I'm going to say Selena at cormeum.pro. And Selena is going to put in her password and sign in. Then they're going to go through the same process. They can see the workflows they've taken in the past, but they have a data manager now. So this person hasn't actually taken any yet. So we're going to take one right now. So let's say they put in the date, they put in what they're grateful for. I feel grateful for my job. I have plenty of, let's say, money. My word for the day is exponential. I can see that my future is so, so shiny and bright. I am ecstatic to be alive, or whatever else they want to say. They can add another entry or say continue, change their answers and continue. And if now this person goes to their workflows taken, they're going to see the entry from this one. They can view their answers like they did if they were a user. But they can also go to the data manager and search by workflow to see their workflows like this and view their answers in this way. So it looks more like a table in the back, and they can search if they've done multiple different kinds of workflows. So that is what it looks like from the different perspectives of a user account. So if we come back here, this is what the user would see in their client portal. They'd see their entry like this. They can view their answers, which looks fine. But if an organizational user takes it, they have the ability to search their data manager by workflow. But they could also see it here just as the other person did, like this. And you, as an admin or a builder account, are able to see the entries by workflow like this. And if you wanted to, so you'd be able to see other people. So maybe it's not perfectly conducive or the best idea to have a journal in this particular situation, and because it's maybe private and people don't want the person who created it to see. But it's more to show you that you can have something like this, something like a recurring type of thing where you want the other person to be able to see their answers, and it's something that they do all the time, and what that looks like from different perspectives. In my case, maybe I just made this for myself, so it doesn't really matter if I can see my own entries because I want to, but that's up to you. So if we wanted to be able to see by the data manager searching from the global, let's say I wanted to see like Selena. So you can see Selena's applied for these different things, and you can open in the data manager or whatever else. And you can also search this way if you knew that they were here for whatever reason. You wanted to be able to look at these different entries. And in my case, let's say I just wanted to look at my own, then I would be able to do that. I could also come this way and look at my workflows taken like this. And for my case, they're always going to be in this sort of by workflow. So let's go back here and I can see mine here. So that's just a quick one today to show you what's possible using and harnessing the different things you're able to do from different perspectives, such as user, organizational user, builder, and admin, and a single repeating item to create something that has someone be able to come back to this over and over and over again and see their entries in their data manager or in their client portals. So I hope that was useful, and I will see you in the next video.